Next we have Bean. All right, Bean. Are you ready, buddy? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. If you get T, I'm going to be surprised. You got E.
E. Okay, let's take a look at what E archetypes there are. So we got Earthbound Immortal, Edge Imps, Elemental Heroes, Element Sabers, Empowered Warriors. Yo, Endymion, let's freaking go, baby! Let's go, let's go! Okay, jokes aside, we weren't able to play Endymion for the A to Z tournament, unfortunately, but instead we are going to play an Ooga Booga deck in the form of Evil Eye. So for those of you that don't know what Evil Eye does, basically with their normal summon alone, being Surziel, or with their field spell, they're able to make a monster that is not able to be destroyed by battle, by card effects, and can't be targeted. And it's insane. Surziel is one heck of a boss monster, and basically you're just playing like a stun control deck with it that can play some really oppressive trap cards. So I figured let's just go and get to the deck profile. We can get into our first round of gameplay. So starting things off, we're playing 3 Surziel. This is mandatory, you can't play any less than this. Surziel is your searcher for the deck. He's also a quick effect pop on your opponent's turn. Well, not even just your opponent's turn, but in general, whenever it's equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, which we're going to get to in a little bit. So Surziel is insane, quick effect pop, it's disruption, and this is kind of be your towers for the deck. Moving on, we have playing 1 Medusa. Medusa, when it's normal summon, you can recycle your Evil Eye cards in your graveyard back to your hand. And when it's equipped with Selene, you can quick effect banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. You're not doing this very often. Rarely are you even getting to Medusa. Surziel's the card that you're always looking for, not Medusa. But it does add a little bit of extra consistency to the deck in the form of recursion. Moving on to the only other 2 Evil Eye monsters in the deck, we have Catobopus, and you can protect your Evil Eye spells and traps from being destroyed until the end of your opponent's turn. And if you have this in your grave while you have an Evil Eye monster, you can just special summon him into the field, but banish him when he leaves the field that turn. I guess he's kind of like a Salamangreat Spinny in a way. And then for the last monster, this is the monster that you actually use a little bit more than any of the others besides Surziel, is Basilius. Basically, if you have an Evil Eye monster, you can just special this from your hand, and then you can mill an Evil Eye spell or trap from your deck to the grave, and we'll talk about which one you typically send off of Basilius as well. Moving on to a couple of our hand traps, we're playing 3 Ash Blossom, just because this is a rogue tournament, and Ash Blossom is just generically good against all types in the game. So moving on to our other spells, we're starting with 1 Evil Eye Remergence. This is a new card out of Eternity Code. Basically, you can just special a token for free. It's awesome. And if you have Evil Eye Selene in your spell and trap zone, you can special 2 tokens instead, which easily gets you into your Link 2 for the deck, or even gets you into some of your nightmares, since this locks you into Fiends. You can also banish this card from your grave to keep your opponent from targeting Evil Eye spells and traps you control with card effects, but only during this turn. I wish that this lasted until the end of the opponent's turn. The graveyard effect really sucks, not gonna lie. Moving on to our other spells, we were playing 2 Evil Eye Awakening. You can special summon an Evil Eye monster from your hand or graveyard. If Evil Eye Selene is in your spell and trap zone, you can special it from your deck instead. The thing that sucks about this card in particular is that all of these monsters, at least the ones that you want to special out of the deck, only get their effects if they're normal summoned. One of the stipulations of the tournament was the fact that we had to make sure that we had around 50 to 65% in archetype cards. So a lot of these cards are just filler, where I'd be putting other cards in instead. So, but to help out with the consistency, we are playing 3 Pot of Extravagance, 1 Card of Demise, a Terraforming to look for the field spell, and 3 Pot of Duality. A lot of times you're able to resolve both Extrav and Duality. Extrav restricts you from drawing cards by card effects, but fortunately Duality doesn't constrict with that, it just adds a card. from the top 3 to your hand, so it doesn't conflict with Pot of Extravagance. It conflicts with card Demise, but God, if you open up Extravagance and Demise, you're just winning the game anyway. Moving on to another Evil Eye card. We're playing one Evil Eye Repose. When you activate this card, you can banish an Evil Eye card from your graveyard to draw a card. It's nice. It's like an upstart. Not too insane. Again, we're just playing a lot of these names for the overall consistency of the deck. So, but when you, once per turn during after damage calc, if your Evil Eye monster equipped with Evil Eye of Selene attacked an opponent's monster, you can just banish an opponent's monster. So it doesn't even matter if your monster is big or not. You're able to just kind of Zodiac Whiptail your opponent's monsters away. If you couldn't tell, Surziel's not that big. He's only 1600. But we have a couple spells that really help with that, including Evil Eye of Gorgonio, or Gogonio. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's fine. You can equip this only to an Evil Eye monster, but this card has two functions. One that works with Basilius, and the other one that really helps whenever you're trying to come back. The effect that helps whenever you're coming back, the difference in life points that you have from your opponent is added to the attack of the monster that this is equipped to, which is insane. I've gotten Surziel up to 13,000 attack before. It's stupid. It's so good. The other thing that's really nice about Gorgonio is you can send this to the grave off of Basilius. Then you can discard an Evil Eye card to add a different one, a different spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which we'll get to the really, really good ones here in a second. One of which is Evil Eye of Selene. Evil Eye of Selene is the card that basically makes your cards towers. They can't be destroyed by battle. They can't be destroyed by card effects. They can't even be targeted by card effects. It's insane. If your opponent doesn't have back row removal, they basically scoop as soon as you establish the lock. It's insane. So the thing that sucks about Selene is that every single time an Evil Eye spell or trap is activated, and every single time that the monster equipped with Selene activates its effect, you lose 500 life points, and it gains 500 attack. So the longer the game goes on, the more your life points are going down, 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 down. The one thing that is really nice about Selene is that even if Selene leaves the field, the monster that it was equipped to keeps the attack that it had. So if your Surziel goes up to like 5k attack, it's permanently 5k attack. It's insane. Moving on to the field spell, Pareidolia, really great. It's another searcher for the deck. It's like a Trickstar Light Stage in a sense. And then it also acts as an Amazona Swordswoman when it's on the field as well. Moving on to the traps, we have Evil Eye Defeat. This is a compulse as long as you have an Evil Eye monster, and it's a compulse for 2 if you have an Evil Eye monster equipped with Selene, which is insane. Bouncing for 2 has honestly been the MVP of this deck. You'll see in the matches. Moving on to the other traps, more hand traps, Infinite Impermanence, great for disruption, 3 Crackdown, or Manhunt, however you want to say it. Another phenomenal trap. This card is insane, especially for a rogue tournament. 1 Skill Drain, because a lot of decks just can't play through it. And once you get your Cersei up to 6k attack, you don't really have to worry about the effects anymore. You don't. But you play a back row deck too, so you're fine. Skill Drain is insane. And then as our last 2 cards, we're playing 2 Evil Eye Retribution. This is a counter trap that negates spells and traps, which is really nice, especially for rogue matchups, or if they're trying to evenly you, or if they're trying to lightning storm you. You can use Evil Eye Retribution to stop said things. Moving on to the extra deck, it's very much a Pot of Extravagance extra deck. We're playing 3 Zerziel. I don't think I ever have summoned this before. I've never summoned Trispania. Unicorn has come up, Phoenix has come up, and so has Gorgon. So Gorgon, I guess since I've made it her a couple times, basically she's just a quick effect negate when she's equipped with Selene. And that's pretty much it. So she's really easy to make with the Evil Eye Remergence. just because it's 2 monsters including an Evil Eye. So if you have the 2 tokens, you can easily make a Link 2. Moving on to the side deck, playing 3 Nibiru for the combo matchups, going second, 3 Evenly for the back row matchups, 3 There Can Be Only One because a lot of decks just can't out that, 3 Cosmic Cyclone for any of the back row matchups or field spell heavy decks, and 3 Judgment for some extra oomph going first just to make sure that we don't get Evenly or Lightning Storm. So that does it for the deck profile, and let's just go ahead and check out the first match. Real quick guys, before we get into the replays, I am going up against Wildeo TV. It'd be a huge favor to me if you went ahead and go ahead and check out his channel. I'm going to leave a link to his channel down in the description. It's an awesome match, and we're going up against Cyber Dragons. Okay, here we are with game 1 against Wildeo TV, and if you look at our hand, we don't have Surzeal, we don't have the field spell, so I'm a little worried with our opening hand. If he has an Ash for this Pot of Extravagance, we are in some big doo-doo. So we are going to start our turn off with the Pot of Extravagance, banishing 6 from our deck, and we do draw into a Surzeal as well as a Pot of Duality, so we're in very, very good position. Surzeal is going to go ahead and search for our Evil Eye of Selene, which we're going to equip, and we're going to set 3 back row. Now, one of the things about Cyber Dragons is they just rip apart back row, so we don't have a very good matchup. We have to make sure that we stop them from getting to Nova, or especially Infinity. So, let's see how we do. So, our opponent is going to go ahead and special summon Cyber Dragon Napster, which is going to prompt a Hers searching for a Cyber Dragon. He's going to use Machine Dupe to go ahead and special 2 more Cyber Dragons from his deck, which he's going to then activate a Cyber Repair Plant, searching for the Jizakuru. One of the biggest counters to this deck is Kaijus, which I wasn't expecting a ton of in this tournament, but he does Kaiju. Cyber Rev System back to Hers, going into Seeger, and going into Nova. At this point, we are going to crack down the Nova to keep him from getting to that Infinity. He's going to change Cyberload Fusion to go into Chimeric Deck Rampage Dragon, which we do have another crackdown for. He is going to special summon Cyber Dragon here, and I'm very shocked that he doesn't have I think it's a Fortress Dragon, that can contact away all 3 of the monsters and swing for 3k damage. He decides to special summon Cyber Dragon and pass. So, we do have the Reemergence, which is going to special a token and get us into Unicorn, which we're going to ditch a card to shuffle back the Cyber Dragon, and we're going to swing for 2200 damage and pass back to him. He does happen to top deck a Cyber Repair Plant, though, which is going to get his Cyber Dragon Napster back, reborning the Rampage, and contacting with us into a Mega Fleet, and he's going to be swinging for a bunch of damage. So, passing it back to us, we do happen to top deck a Pot of Duality, which is going to get us into another Surzeal. In fact, we hit 2 off the top. Surzeal is going to add our Gorgonio, which is fantastic. Selene recycles itself to equip itself back on to our Surzeal. We're going to Evil Eye defeat both of those monsters back, and that gets our Surzeal up to 5,900 attack for game. Very, very good game. We're only down to 2,000 life points there. Let's check out game 2. Okay, game 2, we are going second, so we're already fighting a downhill battle. So, starting off with Cyber Emergency, we know better than to let that go through. So, Galaxy Soldier coming down, he's going to attempt to search for another one, which we are going to Ash just to make sure that he doesn't have access to his level 5 engine, getting into Nova and getting into Infinity. So, Ashing was awesome there, 1-for-1 coming down for the Natster, specialing back a Cyber Dragon. So, it's all for naught. He is going to get back his Infinity and go into Seaguar and pass. So we ain't doing so hot. But we do have Surzeal. There Can Be Only One, and 2 Evil Eye of Defeats. Very important here that we don't activate our Surzeal effect, because he's just going to negate it with the Infinity, and we want to make sure that our Evil Eye of Defeat is still live, as well as There Can Be Only One. So, we are in an okay spot. He's going to Jizakuru our Surzeal, so that sucks a lot. He had the Kaiju both games. And we're going to attempt to bounce the Infinity back to his hand. Very important here that Cyber Dragon Infinity negates activations, An Evil Eye of Defeat specifically says you can only activate one Evil Eye of Defeat. Well, Evil Eye Defeat per turn. It's going to come up in just a second. So, then we're flipping that there can be only one to get rid of the Seeger. He's going to use Infinity to try and suck up the Jizukiru, but we have a second Evil Eye of Defeat to bounce that back to the extra deck. And now we're in a really good spot. We have a 3300 Beat Stick, top decking an Imperm, dumping the Gorgoneo, swinging for 3300 damage and passing it back to him. He's going to top deck a Cyber Repair Plant, which is not good for us, adding the core to his hand, but we do have the Imperm. He was probably going to search for, what is it, the Cybernetic Overflow to pop the There Can Be Only One, which would be really, really bad for us. So, he's still locked under machines. He attacks into our Jizukiru, which tells me that he's just giving up, and at that point we can just swing with the Jizukiru one more time to finish the match, going 2-0 against Cyber Dragons with Evil Eye. So, again, please make sure that you go ahead and support Wildeo over on his channel. Please make sure to go ahead and leave him a sub. Really, really appreciate it. It was a really fun match, and we will check back in with you for the next one. Round 2, baby.